Welcome, pudding people, to another episode of Everybody Loves Pudding. I am your host, Ken Seymour. Today, I am excited to bring to you a massively talented individual. You could call him the triple threat of theater and cinema. He can dance, he can act, he can rap if you ask him nicely. It's Mr. Aaron Dalla Villa. Thank you for joining
Woo! Thanks for having me, Ken. It's good to be here, man.
I'm happy to have you. It's almost like deja vu, but in a good
I
way.
know, right?
Oh, well, I have to say, I was especially excited to get the chance to talk to you because you have a bit of history that you're involved with that plays to one of my interests myself that I've had for a long time, and that's dance. And anytime I get a chance to talk to somebody that is involved with dance, I get a little tickle. It's so much fun. And specifically, you've got a history with ballet, and that's
Yeah.
some really, very detail oriented, grueling work. How did you
Yeah.
get into that?
My sisters were, I love that you asked this question about dance because, what's funny is that when I was a dancer primarily and I acted, people wouldn't see me as an actor. They would only see me as a dancer. Now that people know me as an actor, when they find out I can dance, they're actually more impressed. It's weird. It's a really weird thing that people have. But anyway, so how did I get into dance? My sisters were dancers. I did a little hip hop. They danced with a competition dance team in Virginia, where I'm from. And they wanted a guy on the team, and my mom was like, yeah, you should put Aaron in. And I did a little hip hop, so I was like, yeah, I'll do it. But I'm never going to do ballet. Never going to do ballet. Never going to do ballet. Took a ballet class. I loved it, and I became obsessed. Like, I wanted to be Baryshnikov. I wanted to be Nijinsky, So that's what I started doing. I started doing that. And then it went from dancing with, competition dance team to doing something more trained at the Governor's School for the Arts, where I studied under classical ballet, classical modern, Cunningham, Graham, all the techniques, balance, you know what I mean? So we did the thing. And then I went to go work with Nashville Ballet, second company, and I had the opportunity to perform with the main company several times. And then I guested across the country, worked in Chicago, I worked in Illinois as well, and then played Mistopheles in Cats in Illinois, and then made my way to New York. And it was dance that actually brought me to New York because a manager scouted me, and then that's when I started getting more into acting. So it is the foundation. It is the grueling 8 hours of work ethic that has been instilled in me that is my foundation for which I work. Acting, scripts, whatever, that is in me now, that I know the work. I don't mind doing the work because it's ingrained in me. So it's the best thing that it could have ever happened. So
Would I be wrong in thinking that there was a slight difference? I've been lucky enough to be involved with theater in the past, and you have to have a certain level of coordination and trust with your fellow actors and the people that are in the production. But I feel like with ballet, it's on a different level because it just seems like it would have some added levels of complications that could arise. What is it like being part of that kind of technically precise troupe?
I mean, how deep down the rabbit hole do you want to go? Some of the craziest people I've ever met were dancers. We're out of our minds, just out of our minds, because the level of precision and it's because it's a sport that's mixed with art, and it's beautiful. You meet some of the most beautiful people, and they're also some of the most ruthless people.
They should make a movie about that.
Black Swan. Black Swan does a pretty good job at saying this is how it goes down at those top levels. I never worked with ABT, but I know I worked with people who did work with ABT. I met Robbie Fairchild. He worked with New York City Ballet, and I can imagine that it is that ruthless at those levels. I mean, because you're with the best in the world.
With the age group that I'm in, obviously Black Swan is the more current reference, but I still get stuck in White Knight saying, "Give me a little Gregory Hines any day."
Dude, yes, yes, all day, every day. We would watch that video of him pirouetting. See, that's the stuff that we would geek out over. So we would literally, after class, all the men would like get in a circle and then do, okay, one pirouette, one pirouette, one pirouette, and then go around two pirouettes, two, and we'd see how many we could do. 5, 6, 7. Like that was our life. We were obsessed. We ate, slept, and breathed ballet. We loved it, and it was so great, and it paid nothing, but it didn't matter.
Well,
It didn't matter because we were doing the thing.
That's right.
So
You were fulfilled. You had
we
purpose.
we had purpose, and we were fulfilled.
So, of the productions that you were involved in, what's probably either your favorite production, or whether it was one you were involved with, or one that you just always wished that you had a chance to perform?
I wish I had a chance to perform in either Carmina Burana. I did. Ooh, actually, that's a good question. You just brought me up. While I was at the Governor's School for the Arts, I got to perform 2 back-to-back roles in Carmina Burana, in their production of Carmina Burana. I love that. That was great. And it was 2 very different roles, and they were back-to-back. Um, um, but when I was with Nashville Ballet Second Company, I wish I could have performed Rite of Spring and Carmina Burana with the main company. I did get to perform Cinderella as the court jester soloist, so that was very, very fun. And I think right then was I started to notice the bit of the acting that was in me. The acting, they would make notes, they would say things, they'd be like, "Oh, you're really good at telling the story in this character." And I don't know, I felt like I always had a natural affinity to because I would do impressions. Don't ask me to do any impressions right now, please. But I would do like silly things and stuff for my family all the time. My grandma would call me Jim Carrey, and I was always just active and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It just kind of came naturally to me.
The the right role can be just a boon, not only to the person watching, but to the person performing. And there
Yeah,
are certain roles that are always kind of iconic, some
yeah.
more than others, but whenever I see them, they just kind of tick the back of my mind. It's like, he looks kind of young, and oh, Peter Pan. Yeah, of course he played Peter Pan. Now,
Yep.
did you get to
Yep.
do the wire work with that too?
I didn't know. So I was doing the workshop for Peter Pan, but I did get to perform in front of an audience. It was because we were preparing it because it was a show that was going to go to China, so it was going to be a Chinese cast. And I have one regret actually is that if you ever get the opportunity to go to China and help set a show, even if you're not performing, go. Don't listen to your agent. Do it. Because I listened to my agent, he was like, "Well, you're not performing," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess I won't go." And I'm like, I missed out on the opportunity to go to China and experience the world. Go.
Yeah.
No, I got to work as Peter Pan in that production, and we didn't do any wire work, but we did we did something that's actually more dangerous, like more like Palobolus work, where I step onto people's hands who have it outstretched and then they bring down, they move me here, whatever. So it was some dangerous stuff that we did, but no, absolutely. Peter Pan was a wonderful experience.
Well, you also got to do Madrid and
Mordred.
Camelot. Mordred.
Mordred is one of my favorite roles I've ever played. It was so, I can't tell you how fulfilling it was. For one, I Ken, I never thought that I was gonna do musicals. Because at a young age, you start singing and someone says you can't sing, and then that kind of hurts you, and you grow up and live with that. And then I got over that and I said, "Screw you, I'm gonna do it." And then I started just training relentlessly. And because if someone ever says anything that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna prove you wrong. Here's my why.
Right.
So I did it, and I booked Camelot, and I went to go do Mordred, and I got to act and sing and be evil, and it was just so rewarding. And he was a badass Mordred. He wasn't like one of these like prancy Mordred, type. He was dangerous. He was really dangerous. He was very Game of Thrones. We walked on stage, and they told me that the energy shifted, and if I can have that kind of impact, I have done my job.
Yeah,
So.
that whole story's so much fun, and playing a villain is fun too. Uh,
Ugh.
did Morgan Le Fay factor into your performance on that as well?
No, 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 no. I kind of like to work from a clean slate.
Eh,
I like to work from a clean slate. I actually like to even we were actually in who was the guy who did it in the movie?
I
We
don't
were
even
in his
know.
green room at Bay Street Theater, actually.
Oh,
You know
that's
who I'm talking about,
cool.
Planet
I
of
know
the
exactly
Apes?
who you're talking to because
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
film.
So we were in his green room. So I was walking on the same grounds that he walked on. Isn't that wild?
That is awesome.
No, I gotta look at this. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Mordred,
Yeah.
Roddy McDowell.
Oh, right, right, right. That makes sense. I'm thinking
Roddy
the film.
McDowell.
You're in the other.
Yep.
Okay.
He was the one. I was walking on the same grounds that he had walked on when I was playing Mordred. That was cool. That
Just
was really
being around that kind of level of talent and
dude.
the sheer
You you
experience.
you feel like you've made it. You're working with people who've been on Broadway. You're working in spaces with people, and then you also got to meet um then you also got to meet Julie Andrews.
That
Yeah,
that would be
her
just
her her gr- her I think it was her niece or granddaughter was in Hope Hamilton was in the production. I got to meet Julie Andrews.
man.
Yeah, that was cool. And Julie Andrews saw my work, and she complimented my work.
Oh,
So
so you're saying
listen, I
you're
mean,
just
what
done.
other validation do you need? Uh, from this scrappy dude doing ballet to being complimented by Julie Andrews. Come on,
That's
forget about it.
crazy.
Yeah, man.
But being able to
So-
bring that kind of psycho killer energy to a part is a lot of fun.
oh yeah, oh
That
yeah,
kind of makes me wonder: is that why you get cast in a lot of horror films?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Is it because they go, "Hey, I know this guy.
Nah, I
He
don't
can,
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just been the natural progression of things. And they just happen to be horror. I have a drama coming out later this year. It's a pure drama. I had another drama that I was a part of called All Those Small Things. I would honestly say I'm pretty even now in the amount of films I've done in the different genres. I don't really consider myself a just a horror actor because I enjoy working in the horror space, but I like to work in other spaces too.
well, I gotta say
Like
the
I want to
plot.
do a rom-com.
Oh yeah, those are fun.
Those are just fun. Like I
Yeah.
want to do a romantic comedy, wholesome, funny movie that is hilarious and loving and heartfelt.
Well, I still gotta say the pledge was a lot of fun, and it looked like you had a lot of fun in that film.
Pledge was a rom-com. Pledge was a rom com. It was about these elitist white guys who were in love
Yeah.
with the pledges. Like it is obviously a love story.
Yes, I see it. It's just they had to learn how to show their affection.
Right, exactly. By killing them.
Oh man. Now, okay. We talk a little bit about joking about being cast in one direction or the other, but
Right, 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 right.
everybody at one point wants to be a lead. They want to be the one. I'm going
Yeah.
to be able to carry the picture, right? Or carry
Yes.
the play. You had that with Alpha Rift,
Alpha Rift. Yeah. Alpha Rift, which is kind of a kids movie, actually.
right?
It's kind of in the middle. I'm not sure if you saw it, but like if we were to do a sequel, I think the biggest problem with that film is it's such a great, unique, original story from director Dan Lance, who's a good friend of mine. It is in this weird in between area where it doesn't know if it's a kid's film or an adult film. So I think what we need to do is if we do a sequel, and listen, if my name becomes big, when my name becomes big enough,
There we go.
I want an Alpha Rift sequel. And I want a sequel where we decide whether or not we're going to do a kids movie or an adult movie. We need to pick one or the other. We need to pick one or the other and decide. I loved playing Nolan Parthmore in Alpha Rift. It was very much my Marty McFly. I got to do something that was more wholesome. He wasn't a killer. And he was just a likable guy. And I got pretty good reviews for the guy too. So, but then again, I don't really care about reviews. It's funny. I care about reviews obviously, but I don't
Right.
because listen, I'm out here doing the thing. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm the man in the arena.
Yeah.
So, I'm going for it.
Well,
And
it had a lot of fun action sequences in it.
oh, the action, forget about it. Forget about it. Very cool. And that's another space that I want to work in, that I'm going to work in. More action movies. I like the Tom Cruise-esque action movies. I want to do some action movies. That's a cool space. I think that would be really fun because it's less about the acting and it's just like, I'm going to take you down. Like when John Wick
Dramatic
says like
poses.
5 lines in John Wick, you know?
Walking away from
So,
explosions. You got to have that.
right. Oh, why not? Because I just love making movies. I love making movies. So if it's horror film, drama film, rom-com, comedy, straight comedies are hard. Comedies are hard. You gotta it's gotta be in that pace. It's gotta be in the writing. It's gotta be in the editing. It's gotta be in the cast. Those are hard. Um, Dramas, rom-coms, voiceover work. I even work in voiceover too. I've worked for, dubbing and also commercials and whatnot. I just love the craft of doing the thing. Theater, film, dance, it doesn't matter. I'm art, just art. I
Well, and
love
you
it.
get the chance not only to make something, but to make interconnections with other people that have similar mindsets and that
Mhm.
you appreciate the work. And just still thinking about Alpha Rift. I mean, having a chance to be in working with Lance Henriksen, for
Mm.
example. I mean,
He is a legend, obviously. He's one of the funniest guys you'll ever meet. I remember I remember him and we were staying at the same like bed and breakfast kind of thing and we were going over the script. And I was like doing my script and I had my lines, memorized and he's going over his script and he's like looking over at me, he's like, Nolan, you have to get away from who wrote this shit? He's like, drag him more, drags Miro more. Who wrote this shit? He
oh,
is some of the funniest guy I've ever worked with, and man, we just had a great time making that film. I loved making Alpha Rift, and that's all it honest dude because Alfred still did very well. It went to Dances with Film Festival, Vertical Entertainment picked it up, it got limited theatrical release, like it did. It's got a tomato on Rotten Tomatoes, people like it. I have a fan who says that it's her favorite movie she's ever seen.
those
So
are the
that would
best.
be my biggest thing. My biggest thing is Aaron Dalla Villa wants an Alpha Rift sequel,
I'd
and
watch it.
we need to decide, all right, are we going full Nickelodeon or are we going CW?
And
Yeah.
go like the really dark CW, like Supernatural.
Right. Oh,
It's
no, absolutely. No, 100%. Do we go dark CW or do we go kids movie? That's the only thing I think. And I think Alpha Rift, I'm telling you, man, there were rumors that a big streamer almost picked it up as an original, which it didn't happen. But I want an Alpha Rift sequel. I told Dan Lance the other day before Wrath of Becky came out, I said, get that Alpha Rift sequel ready. We're going. We're doing it, man.
Well, okay, talking about Wrath of Becky, I mean,
Yeah.
the character of DJ that you play in that, tell me a little bit about who that person is, and
Ugh.
is he
DJ's one of the noblemen. He's one of the
yeah.
real. He's a neo. He's one of the pieces. He's a piece of shit. He's just a real piece of shit, man. Like, oh, he's just you know what he is? He represents the misguided, angry incel type youth who has misdirected anger, and so therefore latches on to these echo chamber support groups on the dark web to fulfill his fantasies, because he is such a coward in real life. He's a truly awful person as a result of being so emotionally hurt that he's allowed himself to be corrupted by the dangerous ideology of far-right fascism.
I had to say I giggled just a little bit when I saw the name Nobleman. It's like
How
proud
funny
boy,
is that?
Nobleman.
How fun? How see, I can't make this shit up, dude. Like when I found out that, okay, check this out. When I got the audition, sometimes when I got the audition for Alpha Rift, the coach who I was working with on my first audition, and I'll be honest, my first audition wasn't too hot. I was not off book. I wasn't too hot. But I got the call back, and then I got the role because he wanted someone like me. My coach, when he looked at the script and we were doing it on tape, he was like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna book this." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, this is you." So and then I saw that, he's part of the noblemen. A nobleman is sworn to valor. Their heart knows only truth. The blades defend the innocent. The wrath and does the wicked. Their words speak only truth. That whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And then I get an audition for Becky 2, The Wrath of Becky. And it's like, DJ, tall, lanky. I'm not tall and lanky, but anyway. Slacker, stoner. I played him like a squirrely guy. Part of the noblemen. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I was like, really? Like, and I knew in me, I was like, I'm going to get this part. Part of me just knew. It was like, yeah, I'm going to get this. This is I'm going to get this. Well, it's weird, man. The universe sends you, call it God, call it the universe, call it whatever you want, it sends you these things. It sends you these things, and it reminds you that you're being taken care of.
Well, one of the other things that occurred to me on this, just I have to ask. You were talking about the love of comedy on top of everything, and one of the individuals in this film his name is kind of synonymous with comedies up until this point. It seems like such a left turn casting to try and put Scott into the role that he's in. What was it like to kind of riff back and forth?
So smart for them to do that. The first one, they took Kevin James, the King of Queens, made him a neo-Nazi. For the second one, they took Sean William Scott of Stifler.
Right.
Like put, I mean, that guy, and Dude, Where's My Car? I mean, that guy, for the longest time, I'm sure people come up to him and are like, say the line. Say the line, do the thing that you're known for.
Right.
And now, is that a gift or a curse?
Both.
Exactly. It's a gift and a curse, I think. You're right. And working with him was just so, like, he's an actor. He's an actor. He gets, like, let's do the work. he does the thing, and his turn in this film is so amazing for him and his career. And I think it's going to open up, because you have to, it's so annoying, Ken. It's like you have to show people that you can do the thing.
Right.
You can't just tell them. And here's another thing. You can show them you can do the thing in another project, but they need to see you do the thing on that project.
Yeah.
You know, and it's annoying because you're like, I can do the thing. So he does the thing. So he does it. And I think it's just going to allow his audience to see him in a different light. And on that note, I feel like I haven't been typecast yet.
No.
I haven't. I've been able to somehow play, luckily, a wide variety of characters where I haven't been pigeonholed into a certain type yet. You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, for example, I have in September coming out, I play Cy Robertson of Duck Dynasty fame. You know, like, what is that? And the movie is the incredible story of Phil Robertson's redemption. And it's a drama. It's a legit $7 million, I think it's like $7 million movie made from God, the produced behind God's Not Dead. And it's a legit movie with serious actors in it. And I'm in a drama playing Cy Robertson.
Yeah.
So it is very, very cool, man. And it's just been an amazing, I have loved my career so far. You know, I have loved my career and the way it's going. So,
Well, it's nice
and
to
I'm very blessed and I'm very grateful. But you know, I work very, very hard.
yeah,
So.
and for those of you viewing on YouTube, don't believe the backdrop there. There's no ocean behind him. He's in a warehouse right now. He's actually pressing
What are you
copies of
talking
the
about?
DVD.
My work has been done. I'm on the beach sipping mojitos.
He's got turntables behind him working on his follow-up album right as we speak.
Right. So I'm doing a one-man show right after. Speaking of sitting on the beach, I don't have time for that because what I want to accomplish. My next thing that I am obsessed with is developing my one-man show. I'm working on it with a theater director. We are writing it together. It is based on the documentary about my life that I've been shooting for the past 3 years. That will eventually come out when it is meant to come out. We actually shot some today of me going to the AMC theater and seeing Wrath of Becky and that experience and what that means to my character. And this one-man show is something that I've been wanting to do because I don't know, it's just for someone to do a one-man show, props. And above everything, I just want to be respected in this industry for my work. And that is the most important thing to me. It's not about fame. It's not about money. It is about bringing a quality to and a level of craft to my work that people are like, yeah, I respect that guy. So that is what I'm focused on. I am writing it and working on the music for it. And I just want to make it awesome. So that is what I'm obsessed with next.
Well, it's all about pushing yourself into areas that you may not even always be comfortable with. And that's kind of why I was impressed. It's like, oh, he's a comedy music album too. Okay, yeah. What was
Why
the
not?
impetus? Why not? I like
You
it.
know, yeah, so the Tucci Badaducci comedy rap album. Yeah, and I agree with you. I think we should always, if we stay in our comfort zones, we will die. If we don't reach out, and speaking of, you know, Sean William Scott stepping out doing Wrath of Becky, you know, if we and he's done more than Wrath of Becky. He's played Bloodline, he played Bad, you know what I mean? Like this Wrath of Becky is not the first time he's done showed that he can be serious as well and be a dramatic actor. He's also a fantastic comedic actor as well. He's an actor. You know what I'm saying? And I respect that. Stepping out of our comfort zone and doing a comedy rap album. Tucci Badaducci was a character that I developed years ago. And we did a web series, and I worked with Logan Riley Bruner, who was on Stranger Things, who played Fred Benson in Stranger Things. And he was my co-producer on it. He was my director on it. We wrote it together. We started it together. And I wanted to give Tucci Badaducci a final kind of send-off because I wanted to move on to other things. I'm launching a Christian rock star June 16th called Peter to Rock. And I already have my team behind that. We have several songs in the can and a music video in the can that we're launching with on. So I wanted to, and then I had the one-man show. So I wanted to give Tucci Badaducci the final send-off. So I said, well, what's the best way to give him the final send-off? It was his music. It was always about his music. So I wrote the album, I did it, and it's out there in the world. I think it's got maybe 100 listens to, honestly. You know what I'm saying? But I don't care because it's out there. And when people finally hear about me, years after years of putting in the work, overnight success after 10, 15, 20 years, no matter how long it takes,
they're going to want to talk about this.
Exactly. Because you have laid, that's all I'm doing is I'm planting seeds. I am just planting seeds and I'm playing the long game, man. I'm planting seeds and I'm just moving on, planting seeds.
Well,
because what I want to cultivate is a legacy.
Well, actually, that was one of the questions that I had for you, almost to the word. I mean, because a lot of times I've been lucky enough to speak to a lot of people in the industry, and I've always wondered, and I don't always ask, but I've always wondered. We do the things that we do for specific reasons, but we also often want to be remembered in some specific way. And what is the legacy that you hope to leave behind when your work is done and you really are on the beach somewhere? It's like I've finished what I'm doing and my body of work is there. When people see your opus, what do you want them to think?
Da Vinci.
I like it.
Just the sheer amount of, I mean, man, have you seen that guy's body of work?
He did everything.
Oh my gosh. Like Renaissance man, Leonardo da Vinci. I've got desires to, obviously, this documentary, the one-man show, the music, a book, the way things are working in Hollywood, just the sky, the possibilities are endless. If you can dream it, you can do it. You can.
Yeah.
You have to build it.
Yeah.
You have to build it, and that's the work that most people don't want to do. But if you can dream it, imagine it, you can do it. And you can't wait for the phone to ring because, listen, I got lucky. I got lucky with Alpha Rift. I got luck. I auditioned. I worked hard. I was the thing that someone was looking for. I got lucky with Wrath of Becky. Someone had seen my work from Pledge. They remembered me. It was the same production company. I got the audition. I did the thing. They wanted it. And
Yeah.
I auditioned I go on so many auditions, and some people don't want it. Or they're looking for something else. That's out of my control. So if I can create things that are mine, I have more control. And in a way, I'm kind of seen differently when I start to create things as my own. And if they start to get some sort of attention, then people kind of open up the door to true collaboration with you. and they reach out to you and they say, "Hey, what do you think about this thing?" I think that's it. It's just cultivating, becoming a force within the industry, something that moves things. I admire Tom Cruise. I might, not have ascend to the heights upon which he ascended, but I don't know. I don't know. But he is someone who he's a real mover and shaker,
Yeah.
and he is he's a beautiful maniac, who's,
Well, he
who's
stayed
driving
relevant for
motorcycles
40
off the cliffs
years.
of Norway. I mean that is so awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I mean, yeah.
I mean,
I will watch people will watch that all day. He's saved the movies.
yeah, yeah.
He saved the movies.
He's a larger than life personality, and that's something that you can't manufacture. You can manufacture opportunity to a certain extent, like you're talking about. You can create some opportunities to be in the right place at the right time, to be part of your own work. But having people realize, and I think that's something that a lot of people really have, and a lot of people don't see it just because they haven't had the opportunity to see it. But getting
Mhm.
the chance to show that, yes, you have that too. That's just killer.
And I had to do that. I had to. So I just wrapped production on my first directorial debut.
Cool.
It's called Kid Prosper. And I co-wrote it, co-directed, co-executive produced, and starred in it. I won't give the details, but I want to keep it under wraps. But it's a drama. It's a dark comedy.
Those are the good.
Uh, and yeah, those are some of my favorite places to work with, dark comedies, because they maintain the elements of drama, you know, and they tend to be more layered.
Mhm.
I mean, what's Joker? Is Joker a drama or is it a dark comedy? You know what I mean? I find some of my favorite movies are dark comedies because they have both elements. But anyway, I digress. Um, and this directorial start, whatever and stuff, I think is going to open doors for me in ways that will benefit me in the type of roles I'm being seen as. So, like I said, you have to build it and show them that you can do the thing. I'll give
Yeah.
you a story. Cy Robertson.
Mm.
I auditioned for it, and it's another collaboration with director Andrew Hyatt, who's a friend of mine now. And I did a movie, All the Small Things, with another legendary actor, James Faulkner,
Yeah.
who is phenomenal, next level. Um, and I did the audition, and he wanted me to get the role. He was like, "Hey, I got an audition for you. Are you interested? Can you do a Louisiana accent?" I said, "Let's do it." Got the audition. I did the audition. He said, "Listen, it's down to you and another guy. They're worried that you can't be funny." And I said, hold on, wait a minute. I was in your movie, your last movie, where I played a comedian. Like, I literally played Tiny Hammer, who is this, like, over the top, um, over the top musician type. I wrote 2 songs for it, but then he had a heart of gold, so he was a performer, funny guy, a lovable idiot is what I
Yeah.
played. And you know, he said they don't think you're funny. Well, it's because the scenes that I auditioned with are not funny.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what the scenes are. I'll spoil it, but they're not funny scenes. So what I did to show them that I can be funny is I retaped one of the scenes, throwing in a little improv in the front in the beginning. And I sent them a video improv audition of me finding a camera for the first time as the character because it's something I'd seen on the show. I send it, and then he was like, "They love you." They think you're funny.
Oh, I had this awful voice in the
So
back of my head when you're saying it's like I re-recorded the same thing. I just wore a hat made out of balloons.
so you laugh about that, Ken, but honestly, sometimes it could come down to that, really. Like, oh, we can't really see their acting because their forehead is too shiny.
Uh, oh man.
So, listen, maybe it's some version of that. I don't know. But all I know is that you have to show them that you can do the thing,
Oh man.
even if you've shown that you can do the thing.
Yeah. Prove and prove and prove again.
Prove them. You're constantly doing that. And that is the biggest advice I can give to people is just you will be constantly proving that you can do it. And if you can constantly show up and be consistently proving it, you will have a career.
All right. So I always like to ask a couple hypothetical questions just because of
Sure.
the type of show
Sure.
that we are. We focus a lot on the intersection of film and television and comic strips, comic books,
Nice.
the
Okay.
pop culture type of thing. So I always like to ask if, first of all, are you a comic book fan yourself at all?
I don't read comic books.
Don't read comic
No.
books. Not necessary for the question. That's the good thing. I know.
Thank you. If
I know.
if I had to prepare for a role, 100%. I'm
Right.
there.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've seen all these comic-based films that Marvel's put
Yes.
out, DC's put out,
Mhm.
Independents have put out. Just from what you know, is there a comic book character that you saw at some point and go, man, I think if I had a chance, I would love to take a turn at that character. Oops.
1,000%. Joker, Riddler.
Yeah.
I but I mean, come on. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. The beautiful thing about the Joker, if you are a comic book fan, you know there's always a slightly
There's
different.
always a slightly different one.
Yep. There's a lot of
I
fun that
mean,
they've had with that
that
character.
is top for me. It is a version of the Joker or the Riddler. When it comes to comic books. When it comes to heroes within comic books, I I think that's Alpha Rift. I think the hero in the comic book is Alpha Rift. The villains interest me way more
Oh yeah.
in DC and Marvel. I find them to be so much more interesting. One of my favorites, I mean, except for Iron Man, freaking Robert
You
Downey
gotta love
Jr.,
Iron Man.
Chris Evans. I mean, all of them. Come on, let's just all of them. Scarlett Johansson, all of them. Or Don Cheadle. Um, yeah, but James Spader
Oh
is
yeah.
ultra. The Josh Brolin, the levels of humanity that he gave Thanos are just
It's
I
impressive.
think you have the ability when you play villains to create a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you ammo. I always have my own fantasy casting because being the huge
Okay.
comic book fan that I am, and I'm going to put the MCU is going to be introducing, finally reintroducing the X-Men and the mutants into the whole
Right.
cinematic
Yep. Yep.
universe, and they've had several X-Men films over the past couple of decades, and they've done and redone certain storylines, but they've left one villain out that's always been a favorite of mine that I always felt would actually have a better transition to screen than some of the other villains, and just hasn't been done. And I thought when I saw you in a couple of the grimmer pieces of work that you've been, it's like, oh, he could put the turn on that. And I think that character is Arcade. He basically creates murder
Let
rooms.
me let me okay, let's look this guy up because what's funny is that the director of Pledge, his whole MO is he wants to be a studio director. And he just shot a movie with a comedy with Method Man.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, come on. He shot a movie with Method Man and tons of other great cast. So he got his $1 million movie, and he actually we have collaborated several times, and he's like, Aaron, what Marvel DC character do you want to play? So hell, man, let's what's the who's this guy?
If you like Riddler, if you like Joker, he's got
Yeah.
that kind of twisted mentality, but it's all about being seen. It's all about being entertained. It's all about, the combination of torture of the people that you don't like with turning that into something that is consumable. It's really kind of a different vibe.
Oh, I'd be perfect for this.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
no, he's got like this like showman kind of quality. He's like a Better Call Saul, but way darker.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This you might have just I might pitch him for this actually.
It would be super cool. It's just like
Yeah.
all those saw the
Are they
films. It's like,
bringing him are they bringing him
I haven't heard anything about him. That's the thing. It hasn't been done yet. Whenever they do an X-Men film, they tend to retread the same stuff over and over again. They'll do the Dark Phoenix saga. They'll do Magneto as a villain, maybe turning into somewhat of a hero, Hellfire Club, that sort of thing. They haven't done a really fun branching out of a different villain yet. But
huh?
this would be a way to establish the X-Men universe, have a fun villain to get, because that's the thing. Not everything needs to be a build to the grand over villain. No, bring in the team, have a great villain that they'll remember that can come back, but doesn't have to be the 3 movie sort of a thing.
Whoa, he's an evil genius and a hitman. Oh, dude, this is cool. Yeah, no humor. He's just really smart. Robotics, mechanical, electrical engineering. Oh my gosh, he could be like a. Oh my gosh, we could make him like an evil Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also has an overinflated sense of self.
Wow. Oh my god. Yeah, I play that for days.
It's so much fun.
Oh, source of force field generation, death traps, amusement parks. He even goes up against Spider-Man.
Hmm.
Because I wanted to play I wanted to play like the Scarlet Spider. I think they already did that, but like I wanted to play some version of Spider-Man. But this might be better because he goes up against Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like you said, the villains are always so much more fun.
So much more fun. Um, dude, this is dope. I'm gonna pitch him this.
I would
I'm gonna
love to
pitch
hear
him
it.
this. I'm gonna text him. I'm gonna say this is who I want to play in the Marvel. Because you know what he said to me? It was like we just filmed some documentary footage for Bird Boy for our documentary about
Oh,
my struggle and stuff. And he said, he just shot his comedy, and he said, "All right, what are we doing next?" And he is an up and coming director, and he said, "What are we doing next?" And I said, and he wants to do Marvel stuff. So I said, I'm gonna pitch him this. I'm gonna say, let's do this.
it'll be good no
Let's
matter who
do
you put
let's
them up
do
against.
arcade.
Yeah.
Let's do arcade. We could even make it. It doesn't have to be. We could even make it an indie. We could even
Oh, yeah.
make it, like the Joker. Joaquin Phoenix's
Yeah.
Joker feels
Not
like an
even
indie
connected.
movie. No, it feels like an indie movie because he really admires Todd Phillips's work. So we could do like some like evil genius hitman. Oh, yo, I'm into this, dude. Can you just see what I mean, man? The universe,
I love it. I love it.
the
And if it
universe,
happens, you
bro.
you come back and you see me, and we'll have you on the show. We'll talk about it.
I'm there. I'm
I love
there.
it.
I'm
Oh,
there.
all right, one last question. One final one
Okay.
before we let you go and get back to making all the cool stuff that we all enjoy. Another
Okay.
hypothetical. This one's a new one. I haven't done this one with anybody yet. So you're on a beach, so this is perfect. You're on the beach and you find a genie lamp. The thing you rub it, the genie comes out and grants you 3 wishes. But this genie has been working in Hollywood for years and years and years, and so his magical powers are very limited. Or at least his interest is very limited, and he will only grant you one kind of wish. He'll still give you 3 wishes, but
Okay.
it's the same wish each time. If you could work with any artist, whether it's an actor, a musician, director, who would it be? Who's your top 3?
Gary Oldman.
Good choice.
Gary Oldman. Uh Viola Davis.
He was awesome.
And mm, it's a toss up between De Niro or Pacino.
Oh, that's not. We'll give you both
And
on the
that's
third one
hard.
just for the fun.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard. That's hard. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But there's so many I wanted to mention, like Daniel Day-Lewis, Meryl Streep, Bryan Cranston. Ooh, Bryan. Actually, I might want to work with him more, man. I know someone who worked with Bryan. He said he's great.
And all the big actors are good. The character actors are good. One of my favorite
Buscemi. Yeah, I'd work all day, dude. There's just so many. Tom Cruise.
Well, of course.
Come on. I want to meet. I know people who've met him, and they're like,
stories.
Oh, they've got stories, all wonderful stories, because he is just like this like energy, that when he walks into the room, that energy it shifts, and that is why he's a movie star.
Yeah. Well, I cannot thank you enough for taking your time to be on the show.
This was great, man. This was so much fun. Yeah.
That's the goal. I want to have fun. I want you to have fun. I want the listeners to see how much fun this is. And when you get the chance, like I said, I'd love to have you on again, talk about some of the future projects you're working on. And and when that time
Arcade.
comes,
we're going to be talking about Arcade.
Yeah, absolutely. Between then and now, what is the best way our listeners can follow your progress? Where do you post most on social media? What's your wish?
Instagram. At Aaron Dalla Villa.
Well, you heard it here. Follow him. See some good pictures. Some giant dice, maybe. But
better have a D20.
That's right. I always not only do I always have a D20. I'll have my advanced.
Yeah, dude. D&D. Come on, let's go, dude.
It's always at hand. Well,
yeah, man.
Until next time, listeners, take a chance. Watch this guy's stuff. I mean, I'll tell you, Alpha Rift is a lot of fun.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Obviously, Wrath of Becky. We got
Wrath of Becky, man. This is it. This is go watch Alpha Rift. Go watch Wrath of Becky. Go watch Pledge. Just listen, if you're interested in learning about a new actor who's kind of a wild card, watch my work.
I love it.
That's it. I'm proud of it.